Attention please, ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony is going to start in 3 minutes. Please prepare yourself before the time is on. As an active participant, you are encouraged to start activating the camera using the virtual background has been provided before, and we recommended that all of the participants be able to remind all of their teammates to join this virtual room. Thank you for your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, because the time has sound at 8:08 p.m. according to the schedule, the event will start right now.
The Honorable Professor Fatul Wahid, ST, MSc, PhD, as Rector of Universitas Islam Indonesia.
The Honorable Mr. Benny Surando, STM SOBING, Representative of Universitas Islam Indonesia, Student Affairs.
The Honorable Speaker of Health, Dr. Jarir At-Tadari, DPharm, PhD, Director of Clinical Epidemiology and Biostatistic Unit, Concrete Researcher.
The Honorable Speaker of the Economy Session, Mr. Ruhul Salim, PhD, Director of Graduate Researcher in the School of Economic and Finance, Curtin University.
The Honorable Speaker of Education, Professor Andreas Kleiker, PS, MSc, Director for Directorate of Education and Skill OECD. The Honorable all the moderator and participants of the first international conference Labma Scientific Fair 2020.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We thank God Almighty because of the blessing and grace we can gather at the very special event, the first international conference Labma Scientific Fair 2020.
First, I would like to introduce myself and my partner today. My name is Ilya Masyarahila, and my partner is Guntur Martabaya. It's great honor for two of us to be a master of ceremony in this special event, the first international conference Labma Scientific Fair 2020, with a topic, the role of college student in achieving SDGs post-pandemic COVID-19. Inshallah, it could increase our insight and knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the event, we will recite the Holy Quran delivered by Brother Farhan. Brother Farhan, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وهو الذي سخر البحر لتأكلوا منه لحما طريا وتستخرجوا منه حلية تلبسونها وترى الفلك مواخر فيه ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون وألقى في الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وأنهارا وسبلا لعلكم تهتدون وعلامات وبالنجم هم يهتدون أفمن يخلق كمن لا يخلق أفلا تذكرون وإن تعدوا نعمة الله لا تحصوها إن الله لغفور رحيم والله يعلم ما تسرون وما تعلنون والذين يدعون من دون الله لا يخلقون شيئا وهم يخلقون أموات غير أحياء وما يشعرون أيان يبعثون أموات غير أحياء وما يشعرون أيان يبعثون إلهكم إله واحد فالذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة قلوبهم منكرة وهم مستكبرون صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Sadaqallah. Thank you, Brother Farhan, for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to sing the Indonesia National Anthem and Universitas Indonesia Islam Indonesia Hymn. We invite the operator to share the screen.
Indonesia, tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi pandu ibuku. Indonesia, kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita berseru, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia yang merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia yang merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia yang merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia yang merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Universitas Islam Indonesia, padamu kami berjanji, majukan studi, giatkan bakti untuk pembangunan Pertiwi. Syariat Islam amalan kita, tegakkan iman Semoga Allah meridhoiku ini.
We are now going to listen the opening speech outright with the official opening of the first international conference Labma Scientific Fair 2020, delivered by Rector of Universitas Islam Indonesia. Please welcome Professor Fathul Wahid ST MSc PhD. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahil akram alladzi 'allama bil qalam 'allamal insana ma lam ya'lam. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin khatamil anbiya wal mursalin khairil anam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahum ila yaumil qiyamati 'ala dawam alladzina al-kiram. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. The honorable invited speakers, Dr. Jarir At-Tabari, medical doctor, Professor Andreas Schleicher, and Professor Holz Salim, my colleague, the Director of Student Development, Pak Beni Suranto, all the moderators, the participants, and all the organizing committee chairs and members. A very good morning to all of us. Today, I'm delighted to welcome you all in this virtual conference. The theme of this conference is very timely, the role of college students in achieving sustainable development goals post-pandemic COVID-19 or post-COVID-19 pandemic. This theme indicate a good awareness among the students to realize their important roles they should play in today's challenging time program that several distinguished speakers, I think they will share their perspective on how to better understand the situation during the pandemic time. More importantly, to find possible bright side of the COVID-19 pandemic. I think this is the best time for us to reflect on our humanity of our relation to others, or even to the nature, this as humankind. Everyone in this forum is not an easy year. Indeed, it is a challenging time that we should cope with. Running away from it is not an option. We should together fasten our safety belt and do our best to mitigate or even to harvest possible blessing in disguise from the COVID-19 pandemics. As we all understood that the pandemic has limited us from doing physical mobility and forced us to put safety as our first priority. Hence, our creativity has been being challenged to survive in this challenging time. We move almost all the learning activities online, setting a norm for working from home activities, or even we redesign our academic activities like this one and mobility program. But after around 9 months, we have learned many things, and we started to redefine our new normality. It is the time for us to revive with new standard, new norm, Even we may use this pandemic time to improve our capacity and use it as a springboard to improve or to be well prepared or better prepared for the future. So on behalf of Universitas Islam Indonesia, I really appreciate to all the student teams for the eagerness in organizing this conference under the supervision of the Director of Student Development, Pak Beni Suranto. I also extend my gratitude to all the speakers, the moderators, and all the participants for your willingness to spare time with us and to share perspectives. To conclude my remark, I wish that you, all the participants, will find this conference rewarding, both socially and academically. I should stop here and let the discussion begin and flow by reciting Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I officially open this conference. I thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Thank you for our opening speech, Mr. Fatul, as a rector of Universitas Islam Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue into the topic, I would like to remind you to activate your video and please ensure that you already mute your microphone so we could see each other face to face and conduct the event nicely. And for your information too, to get the certificate, you must fulfill all attendance form. The form can be mentioned in the comment section. Each participant, either passive or active, needs to fill all of the attendance form. And for active participant, the attendance form just filled by the presenter of the team. So only one people from your team can fill the form of attendance. Okay, for the next agenda, we will go into the first plenary session. On this session, we will be guided by our moderator, Dr. Sahni Rahman Soleman, MSc. Please welcome. Hello, Dr. Sani. Can you hear me?
Hello, Guntur. Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, doctor. On the first session, we will talking about health with the theme is COVID-19 global pandemic, current status and challenge. For all of the participants, please prepare your note and question because in this session, we will get a lot of interesting information. And please pay attention for term and condition to make a question for the speaker. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Sani. The time is yours.
Thank you, Guntur. Thank you, Ilya. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Jarir. In this session, I would like to be your moderator with a special topic, I think, the role of college students in achieving SDGs post-COVID-19 pandemic, and will be delivered by Dr. Jarir At-Tobari, DPharm PhD. We know him as a vaccinologist. They have so many research about vaccine. As you know, that COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia particularly surpassed 600,000 cumulative cases, and around the world around more than 50 million cases. So because of this aspect, we need a collaborative and a comprehensive approach how to manage this pandemic to prevent the harmful effect for our society, including how we can manage but in our community, because as a community member, college student and everything in community have participation to control the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. So the college student is very important how to mitigate the effect of COVID-19 pandemic in our community. Before starting our session, I would like to read Dr. Jarir At-Tobari curriculum vitae. Dr. Jarir At-Tobari, MD, DPharm PhD. His education in University of Gadjah Mada and also in diploma degree in Leopold University Innsbruck, Austria, and his doctoral degree in Rijksuniversiteit Groningen, Netherlands. Other education, epidemiological evaluation of vaccine in London School Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in 2018, epidemiology vaccine safety diploma program by International Society of Pharmacoepidemiology 2018, comparative effectiveness research in diploma program in International Society Pharmacoepidemiology in 2017, and effective risk management plan, International Society Pharmacoepidemiology in 2016. current affiliation. He is a staff in academic staff in Department of Pharmacology and Therapy, Faculty of Medicine, Public Health and Nursing, Universitas Gadjah Mada. As a Director of Clinical Epidemiology and Biostatistics Unit, Faculty of Medicine, Public Health and Nursing, Universitas Gadjah Mada and Sarjito General Hospital. Faculty Board Member, Center for Child Health Pediatric Research Office in Faculty of Medicine, Public Health and Nursing, and a member of Indonesia Task Advisory Group of Immunization. He has a very outstanding research and publication in high impact journals and such as Proximate Trial, clinical trial antiviral for COVID-19 as a principal investigator coordinator, and clinical trial phase 2-3 vaccine COVID-19, stem cell for COVID-19, clinical trial plasma convalescent COVID-19, and systematic review and meta-analysis treatment for COVID-19, and so many publications that including intravenous fluid use in Indonesian community cohort, and many more. So I think Dr. Jarir Atubari, you have 45 minutes to present your presentation. So I would like you to present your slide. The time is yours, Dr. Jarir, please.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for introduction, Dr. Sani. First of all, I would like to thank you to Rector Universitas Indonesia for your kind invitation to give a speech and little bit sharing related to my experience and also other scientific colleagues, yeah, in this pandemic era. I think I appreciate it very much, kind of event, because this event is to make us aware on pandemic COVID-19. I think that's since the beginning we know there are many discussion related to this COVID-19, including the drugs, the vaccine, and there are so many information out there that might be not valid information for especially for scientific what you call that scientific colleagues. Yeah. So now I like to share my presentation. So today I would like to give you a little bit overview about what are the current status on drug and vaccine for COVID-19 and what are actually role of scientific colleagues in this pandemic era. I think I like to change a little bit, not only student colleagues in this case, but I think in general on the scientific colleagues. Why? Because everything a student can do at this moment is also much related to the scientific data and all scientific information. We could not rely on the information that are not based on scientific, because that may harm our community, or also a lot of this information are not reliable and valid. So this is the topic what I like to discuss with you based on the list of topic that given to me. First about the current epidemiology of COVID-19, and then about the medicine, including this any drugs that may be used or already been used in this COVID-19. And then what are the current status of the vaccine COVID-19? I think every countries in the world are really waiting, looking forward for the vaccine. And then what the student actually can do in this case, including the precaution, preventive, and how you can educate the family and the community. When you look at the current status of the epidemiology of the COVID-19 at this time, so I think that been mentioned earlier, there's around 68, almost more than 68 million confirmed cases. This is data 2 days ago, yeah, 10 December 2020, that been released. So I think that already been maybe increasing a little bit today. And you see the fatality rate is very high, 2.3%. This is almost similar with other diseases. But when you look at this, is not actually not the higher case fatalities compared to the cases like dengue fever, and then this like a cancer, and even the cardiovascular disease. So meaning this disease, even though transmission very high, but the case fatality is not too high. I mean, the death, the number of people dead, 2.3%, consider high, but not as high like other disease that is also endemic in many countries. There are 219 countries affected. I mean, you can find the cases, and 180 countries in the world, it's already proved have a local transmission, meaning that the transmission is within the people in the country. So in Indonesia itself, almost more than 4 million been examined, and only almost 600,000 been confirmed as a COVID. So when you look at this, maybe the rate of the positivity rate is not as high in a European country, because when you see this is almost like 11%, but currently this week what we've seen, almost 18% from examination is been confirmed as a cases. So meaning this is the R0, meaning that the transmission rate or the infected rate is become increasing in Indonesia at this moment. So we need to be careful, because these cases might be more higher in the next month. And then, but the good news is people who have suffer from the cases, it's been cured. Yeah, it's almost 80% of cases been cured. But also, but the sad news or the bad news is our fatality rate, the people who died, is even higher compared to the global. So I don't know what happened. So whether this our community is get more severe cases, or a clinical management, the cases in the hospital might not really good. So we do not know yet. And then the negative confirm is also higher, but we need to be careful, because this might be also still false negative. So compared to other country, Indonesia is still a really bad case in this time. Why? Because when you see the progress COVID cases in Indonesia, we've seen that we still do not reach the first wave. As you know, in many countries like in US or in Europe or even in Japan, example, in Korea, the case is already the second wave. So, but Indonesia, we do not know, because we do not have many people who are examined. And then also in terms of number of people who've been tested, it's quite low compared to the Indonesian population itself. We have around 270 million people, but our case being examined is only 4 million. This is very, very low compared to other countries. So when you look at the countries, the highest, United States, India, and Brazil, this mostly the highest population in the world. Why they have higher cases? Because they also have a highest examen. And the ASEAN, Indonesian is the highest cases, and then Philippines and the other countries very low. And Jakarta, Central Java, East Java, and West Java is the highest. I think that's almost 70% cases is in Java Island. Yeah. So this is the also you have a look at the whole country. In Indonesia, we have the cases all over the countries at this moment, and the case fatality also higher, around 3.1%. So when we look at the COVID-19, we should first should know about what is this virus. Yeah, why they call corona? Because this is round, it's like a crown. Yeah, if you look at the crown, there is always have like a spike. This is what we call spike on the surface of the virus, and this is spike we call is a spike protein, meaning that we mostly say S. And then there is a protein that also cover the virus. So this is what we call envelope protein. And you should remember inside the virus, there are RNA. This is the one that could very dangerously enter to the cell and then could harm the cell, especially in the cell, in the lung organ. So that kind of spike protein, actually, this is the one that will binding, yeah, with the cell later on. That's why this spike, like a needle, they enter the cell, and then after that they put the RNA inside the cell. So that can make a cell has infected by this virus. So that's what's the easy way to explain about how the virus entered to the body. But this is more complex, I think. But I will not explain you why, because this is quite a medical, clinical aspect. Yeah, but I just want to say that after enter to the cell, so we have the cell actually will release, it will defend themselves. How they do defend their territory. They will release a lot of new cell, yeah, to attack the virus. But the problem in this COVID-19, the army, yeah, the army that sent it by the body to attack this virus actually is overwhelming. So the overwhelming of this virus, of this army, actually even harmful to the body. Yeah, even harmful to the body. So that's why a lot of happening in the body. So that's why the body can react like a high fever, and then could not breathe. This is actually every symptoms that happen in the cases in this COVID-19, actually because the army that been sent it by our body to destroy the virus. So when you look at this kind of problem, which we call immune cell activation, that actually that really can make the disease more severe. So this is what a very very strange actually type of virus, and very strange also the body reaction. Yeah, there's this kind of very high reaction of the body to it's like our body is too much effort, to protect the body from this virus. So, and then the early, because this pandemic is the disease is very new to all of people in the world. Yeah, nobody knew about how to treat this disease, how to manage the disease. We do not know anything at the beginning of the pandemic. That's why when the early pandemic, there is no actually approved drug, that the drug that been approved by any scientific body that uh, to treat the disease. We don't know anything. So that's why in the early pandemic, there are so many hypotheses. It's only the hypothesis drugs that are given, like interferon alpha. Actually, this drug is used for many times in a clinical setting to treat people with a higher immune reaction. And lopinavir ritonavir is actually for HIV drugs, for AIDS. It's given to the also because that might be have effect. Ribavirin, this is for influenza vaccine. Chloroquine is actually for malaria drugs. Arbidol is also for influenza. So anything drug that available, people try to give them. That might be helpful. But sadly, later on, we know none of these drugs are helpful. So that's why this is a very difficult time for all scientific and all clinician in the world, yeah, because we do not know anything related to this disease. Therefore, the best way to uh, to know what are the best treatment. So there's no other way other than do research. There is no other way than do a study, including is a clinical trial of many drugs to the patient. Because this is what the scientific way to understand and to know about what are the best treatment available. And then you see increasing of clinical trial around the world. That's really, really high at this moment. That's never higher in the human history. This is the most time people doing clinical trial. There are so many drugs now been testing in the clinical trial. Yeah, there are antibodies, there are antiparasitic, and then anti-malaria, anything. They try to find it. So they also a lot of outcome they see from the patient, how based on the treatment they given, about how many viral concentration in our body, whether the drug been improved clinically, and how big the mortality, yeah, how many people turn to receive mechanical ventilation, how the drug are safe, etc. So many things, yeah, they do the outcome they measure for this during this research. So when you look at because this is what the student also should do, please learn all the evidence. Please learn how to conduct trial. Please learn how to conduct a research. Because this is, we need all people in the world that have capacity, any institution, any people around the world that have capacity for doing research. Now, this is the time for doing a research. That's why a lot of budget reallocated at this moment to doing research for COVID-19. When you look at in the Medline, this is the database for any scientific information for COVID-19. Only 1 year, we already almost reached 80,000 publications scientifically related to the COVID-19. This is against the highest increasing in the human history of the scientific data. So, but a lot of data, which one that need to be really trust? Again, even though this is scientific data, even though this based on already scientific knowledge, but it doesn't mean they are true. It doesn't mean also all this information are correct. So therefore, we need to think about it, which methodology, with type of research that we trust to be used for evidence. So there are so many type of the evidence. Yeah, so the best is meta-analysis. Of course, we could not do meta-analysis if we don't have do any research. So this what need to be also learned. Yeah, we need to really study really carefully about all this evidence. I think I just want to highlight here. You should not see this graph because it's so busy and this is so scientifically. But what I want to mention here, because to discovery drugs, it take a lot of time. So what a lot of scientific do now is repurposing the drugs. So repurposing meaning that the drugs that might use for other indication in the past, like hydroxychloroquine for malaria, like favipiravir example for flu. But now they try to doing research, repurpose the indication for the COVID-19. This is the easy way, I think, to look at to help the this pandemic era. I just want to highlight a little bit faster. Yeah, first about hydroxychloroquine, but sadly we study it, we use it. Hydroxychloroquine for COVID-19. This is actually in the past we used for malaria, but sadly in the end of November, all the clinical trial have been done, all the study had been done, all the research, but show hydroxychloroquine there is no benefit at all to the patient of COVID-19. Therefore, this drug now not given anymore. That's very, very sad. Lopinavir, ritonavir that I mentioned earlier, this is for the patient with HIV. Again, at the end of November, it's been shown these drugs are not help at all for COVID-19. Again, this drug will not be used again anymore. So remdesivir, I think these the drugs that really give it hope to everybody. Yeah, first remdesivir is tested in the COVID-19 patient. Now in the US FDA, they use it as emergency use authorization, meaning that the regulatory approved to use this drug for emergency, even though there is no evidence. But October 2020, after a very big clinical trial done in the US and Europe, finally they say remdesivir is the best drug at this moment to treat patients with COVID-19. Therefore, in the October 2020, in US FDA approved the drugs in the market to be used for COVID-19. This is based on the big clinical trial we call ACTT in the Europe and US. But Solidarity Trial, clinical trial, it's initiated by WHO. They've been involved almost 120 countries in the world, including Indonesia. Sadly, this study show remdesivir has no benefit at all. So now this study already been published in the in November, but we do not know yet whether the remdesivir will be later on taken again from the market, not to be used in COVID-19. So the change of the evidence very rapidly, very fast. Therefore, we need to learn, we need to study all the research related to these drugs. But anyhow, remdesivir in many countries still be part of the practice guideline. Yeah, still used in many countries for COVID-19 at this moment. But we do not know in the coming weeks or coming months. I skip this. This data also recommended that actually remdesivir is still suggestion. So they mean that this drug still not strongly have a evidence, very strong evidence to treat patients with COVID-19. But they said still may be helpful for patient, but only with severe cases. Okay. So in the Australia also, yeah, you see they said remdesivir there is no different compared to the standard care. There is no reduction on mortality, but they have a better on reduction mortality only when the patient need the oxygen, and they can reduce the time to get cured. So I think that's the one that we still hope from these drugs. So when you see how many mortality can be reduced, it's only 44 fewer compared to the if not given these drugs. So I think I skipped this done. We just released, yeah, because I'm also the one that part of the member who wrote this book, yeah, together with our Indonesian regulatory. We released the second edition of the informatorium drug for COVID-19 in Indonesia. I think these drugs may be, this book is really help if you want to see what drugs actually can help patient with the COVID-19. And then the other is corticosteroid. I think these drugs also very what you call it, old drugs. We use these drugs for in many indication in the hospital and also in primary health centers. And then the evidence show corticosteroid can be given and can reduce the mortality. I think that's quite help at this moment. So how big? So you see for the hospital that can reduce the mortality is quite high. Yeah, if we do not use, there is the 300 per 1,000 cases will die. But if you use corticosteroid, 265 per 1,000 will die. So at least have 51 patient will saving from the death if you use these drugs. So I'll skip this one. Favipiravir. Yeah, that's still used in Indonesia, but again, there is no evidence, strong evidence that say this gonna be helpful. Tocilizumab also the same. Yeah, you see there are so many drugs out there. We tested now for COVID-19. So this is also, I think, may you heard because a lot of news, a lot of discussion related to this therapy we call convalescent plasma. How big this? What is this convalescent plasma? So when the patient get the disease, get the COVID-19, so I said it earlier, they will there is reaction from the body. They will the body will produce the immune system. So the immune cell actually in the patient will be stay longer until also when they cure, the antibody are still in their body. So this is the way to stop the disease. So we took the plasma from the cure case patient, and then we transfuse this plasma into the patient who's still sick. So this is what we call convalescent plasma. So, but at the early, convalescent plasma show helpful, especially study in China. Yeah, but this study, this research is not very strong methodology, so they need to do in clinical trial. But what happened when do clinical trial? They show there is no effect at all. Convalescent plasma in patient with severe and life-threatening COVID-19. At this moment, I'm doing this clinical trial in almost 10 hospitals in Indonesia. We see want to approve convalescent plasma and the stem cell as a modality treatment in Indonesia. I think this convalescent plasma is finished the study, so we now doing analysis of this clinical trial. So the data from Indonesia, that what I'm doing now, it seems that better compared to the other data from other country. So maybe convalescent plasma could be used later in treatment in Indonesia. So we remember there are declaration for a ethical principle because again we do not know what treatment should be given in this patient. So there is no intervention are proven yet in clinical practice. So this is our guidance. In this case, they said in the treatment of an individual patient where proven intervention does not exist, other known intervention have been ineffective, the physician, after seeking expert advice with informed consent from patient or legally authorized representative, may use an unproven intervention if the physician judgment in it is over hope to saving life and re-establishing health or alleviating suffering. But the intervention should subsequently be made on the object of the research, designed to evaluate the safety and the efficacy. So that's why during this pandemic, we can use any unproven intervention, but has to be in research setting. So this is what the guidance. So what about the vaccine? This is also overwhelming because there are 150 candidate vaccine now in the clinical trial, also still in the animal study. So there are so many. Yeah. So and then there are so many type of the technology being used to produce or to discover the vaccine. So when you see this is also the biggest in the human history. We never seen this such a lot of research on the vaccine. There are vaccine used, they put it whole infected virus or live attenuated virus. Maybe they use subunit protein. They use also viral DNA, RNA, etc. There are so many types how you can produce the vaccine or the technology that you need to discover the vaccine. And the vaccine in clinical trial or research in the and pandemic era in the pandemic era are differently. Why? Because we need to find as much as fast as possible to find a vaccine. So therefore, during the SARS-CoV-2 vaccine development, there are so many clinical trials it's been done, and they do not follow the what I call maybe traditional phase, like a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. But they all phase disease overlap each other. So that make a lot of scientific also or clinician around the world still doubt related to the result of the clinical trial. We should not blame them because uh, the common sense of the clinical trial, it's really need to be educate to people in scientific community or also in non-scientific community. So when you see this is what's the vaccine now in clinical trial, there are so many. Yeah, so I could not give it one by one. Yeah, at this moment you can look at by yourself. But in Indonesia, we also try to discover vaccine that fit for Indonesian population. I also now doing developing of new vaccine. I work together with the Taiwan institution. There are so many information out there which vaccine that will be used for our community. There are so many. Yeah, but we now learn one by one about what type of this vaccine, and I think we have decided two vaccine will be available next year in January, but the other vaccine are still negotiate at this moment. So some vaccine may need 2 times dose. Why? Because maybe the first response, the first dose given may not given higher antibody, so that might not be protected. But the second dose that might increase the antibody, therefore this will be protected. So there are many type of vaccine, whether we want to prevent the infection or we want to prevent the admission, or we want to prevent the severity of the disease. So this is a lot of type of this vaccine may have a different effect. So they need to be carefully, especially regulatory, especially scientific and a community need to be careful which vaccine had to be choose for Indonesian setting. So why? Because there are so many types. The vaccine have to be immunogenic. So they mean that given that can increase the antibody, and then the antibody should be longer. It's not only like 3 months and then you need to give it again, or only 6 months. They have to be longer immune system and have to be safe, and then have to be stable in the field, because the vaccine have to be stored in the cold environment, and have to be stable because our temperature in Indonesia is our tropical country, so maybe between 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. So a lot of vaccine might not stable in the field. So that's our challenging. It's different with a country like US or Europe. At this moment, they is okay because it's now during the winter time, so they might not difficult to given to the patient. But Indonesia have to be very, this is challenging because we need to have a like a cold chain, super cold chain to store the vaccine, and then sometimes they combine it, and it the best way is only given one shot, only one injection. But the problem, is it feasible? Is it antibody increase in the good only for one shot? Maybe not. And then the other have to be able to access by all of us. So again, challenging for Indonesia because we not the rich country. So I think the government said only 30% for Indonesian population will get free the vaccine, meaning that 70% others have to pay by themselves. So whether this is going to be accessible, whether this is going to be affordable for all of us. And there are so many, this is the one study done in Oxford University. I think that's really look good because the efficacy look good. And then this they say around 90%. I think that's absolutely incredible. And then this about the study, the vaccine from Pfizer. I think you heard it. This is not really because this is the first RNA vaccine ever in the world. So this technology never be used before. and then they have to be stored in -70. So I don't know whether this is gonna be used in Indonesia because we don't have the -70 storage deep freezer in many places in Indonesia. We don't know whether we can use this vaccine. Yeah, even though they have 75% efficacy, meaning that people who get this vaccine, 75% will be prevent from the COVID-19 compared to not receive the vaccine. I think that's really helpful, the information. But the challenge of the vaccine, first, RNA vaccine. So because this is the first vaccine in the RNA, we do not know whether the challenge of the safety. And then the second is the storage. And the other is how many people need to be vaccinated to get the herd immunity, what we call community immunity. So I think this is, sorry, still in Bahasa. I think this is just a very small to explain how actually this case is. We need around 70% to get the community become immune. So if we have 270 million people, I think we need around 200 million people be vaccinated. I think that's very challenging. I think I'm gonna be a little bit fast because the time. So this is the way you need to learn. All the student colleagues need to know what are the symptoms. High fever, coughing, sore throat. I think you should know. And then how this contagion of this disease by coughing, sneezing, personal contact, contaminated object, and the animal contact. How you prevent it? I think this is what you need to educate your family, yourself, and your community. Wash the hand, wear a face mask, avoid contact with sick people, and always cover your cough and sneeze. And the other is about how to prevent it. Yeah, wear face everywhere when you contact people. Avoid contact with animals. Go to doctor if you have symptoms. Wash your hand many times everywhere. Please, you know the transmission can be because the contact, contaminated object, or can be also a transmission. Be careful if you know there is someone have fever, coughing, and headache, because these three symptoms, almost 90% of the cases have this symptom. Yeah, so please be careful. Yeah, also sometimes have dyspnea, muscle pain. Don't go anywhere. Isolate yourself if you have this symptom. Yeah, and prevent if you touch something, object, soon as possible have to be wash your hand. Use the really proper mask. The mask should not be under the chin. The mask have to be cover the mouth and cover the nose. Use the mask that have a 3-layer mask, because 1-layer mask is not prevent at all. That's already been proved. Yeah. So sore throat, this is the new symptom that I think we found in the last 2 weeks. Sore throat, confusion, headache. That's also may happen at this time. And
Yes, Dr. Jarin.
yeah.
4 minutes left.
Yeah, I finished. This is my last slide. Be careful, children and seniors. The older population, they are the most vulnerable. Yeah, in the pandemic era. Use alcohol for sanitizer. Yeah, avoid touching the face. Disinfect frequently. Touch the object. And if you know someone gets sick, it's better they stay home and avoid to contact with them, including your family, including your girlfriend or your boyfriend. And I think that's what I want to say. So what other you can do is, again, I emphasize here, learn the evidence, doing a research, help the community, educate yourself and educate your community, because we need together to fight this COVID-19. I think that's my take home message. COVID-19 is a pandemic and emerging disease. No therapy or still limited therapy approved for COVID-19. COVID vaccine need to be implemented to reduce transmission and severity of the disease and should be high coverage to reach the herd immunity. Research to explore new medicine and vaccine are still needed. Students can actively aware, self-educating for precaution and preventive of the COVID-19 transmission. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jarir. Wow, very outstanding, incredible presentation, I think. So, participants, we have around 15 minutes left to Q&A section. So, here there are 4 participants who asked about your presentation, Dr. Jarir. The first from Hannah. Dear Dr. Jarir, I want to ask how to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals target in sustainable manner with COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah. I answer immediately?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yeah, I think that question is very valid. Even WHO are struggling now to ask all many countries to still reach the goal for the SDGs. Why? Because there are so many indicators in SDGs during this pandemic era could not be implemented at all, including vaccination for the normal vaccine program. You see around the world, there are so many reduction of the children vaccinated because all the healthcare facility were locked down, closed, yeah, and then delay of the vaccination almost 3 to 6 months period, and there are so many people affected by this virus. So I think that's really challenging. Therefore, a lot of discussion at this moment, so that may we have a very big aftermath pandemic. So meaning that we will have the highest infection rate ever because there is no vaccine implemented well in the children at this moment. And then the second, they're gonna have a higher cardiovascular disease and the mental illness aftermath of this pandemic. Because people not go home, not go out, they stay home, they eat a lot, obesity increasing, people not moving, yeah, they only look at the computer. So the mental illness and then cardiovascular disease, they're going to be increasing. So that's what the hypothesis later on. So that's really, really valid question. We still do not know how the SDGs will be reached.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jarir. The next question from Umar, Dr. Jarir. Is there any vaccine currently on clinical trial in Indonesia? Maybe concerning on Sinovac, because it has been here since a few days ago. So the rumor said that Sinovac is not effective, but the government has implemented the Sinovac program for all the people in Indonesia. What's your opinion about it?
So there is a clinical trial. It's you say already it's Sinovac vaccine. It's a Chinese manufactured vaccine. It's been tested in Indonesia, and there are so many rumors out there. That's why I said to you, a lot of information. So we do not have only pandemic era. but we also have infodemic now. So meaning that's a lot of information. There's so many that information are not valid at all. So learn it. Always not trust at first time. Please not trust for all information until you get really scientific data. Indonesian been one of the site of the vaccine trial for Sinovac vaccine. A lot of people asking why not doing the vaccine trial in China? Why Indonesia? Why Brazil? Why South Africa? Because when the vaccine are ready to be tested, China has no COVID-19 anymore. So that's the problem. So you need to conduct the study in the population that still have a COVID-19. Therefore, you can approve whether they can prevent the COVID-19 or not. So people can say, oh, this is a Chinese because they don't want to do their community, they don't want to guinea pig their population, where they use other country to test it. Please learn it. Learn it carefully. Don't hear, this is like information not valid. How do you can test it in China? There's no COVID anymore there. When you need to test it in the country where the big still population, that's why they choose Brazil. That's why they choose Indonesia. Moderna vaccine, they try test it in where? In US. Why? Because US still have a big. In Europe, they still have a big cases, but they could not test it in the country like China anymore. So that's what we need to learn about the trial. So you should hear about those kind of non-valid information. And then they said the vaccine Sinovac are not effective. The problem is not because the effective or not effective. The study still not yet released the result. How do you know this is not valid? There's no effective. Even the study done in what you call it in Bandung, there is no result yet. So why they send it the vaccine already to Bandung? Why? Because they prepare it. When the result is ready, they inject to the people. Otherwise, the result is there, but you need still 3 months to 6 months to prepare the vaccine. So during this time, during this day, the time is very urgently. You could not just 3 months, 6 months delay because people dying everywhere. You know, that's why I said, you see, there are so overlapping each other. Yeah, not only clinical trial, but also preparing. You need to think about it to make rapidly prepare. This is war situation. This is emergency situation. The people who not working in the hospital, you don't know how very, very difficult time for us in the hospital. Every day, a lot of people dying. A lot of people hospitalized. So scared. You do not see it because you just go to the mall. You go to the cafe. That's not the way to see how suffer people from COVID. You should go to hospital. See how full the hospital are. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jarir. I think the question from Naufal has been answered by Dr. Jarir before. We are going to the next question from Fadila Pamungkas. This is about herbal medicine, Dr. Jarir. It's jamu in Indonesia. Is it very effective to cure people with COVID-19? Would you explain, please?
Yeah, I also support any idea, any innovation. Any innovation. Again, I said to you, the people who have capacity, the institution who have capacity to do research, any research,
for during the pandemic era is obligatory. So if you think that herbal medicine is can help, please do it. Do research. But I don't agree if they claim, they said, oh, this gonna be cured, this gonna be prevent without any scientific data. That's false claim. Had to be approved. I think that's the way. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jarir.
Yeah.
The next question from Ira, Dr. Jarir. As undergraduate students, we want to contribute in COVID-19 research program. So do you have any references about COVID-19 research grant that we can apply for?
Look at it everywhere.
Everywhere.
Ministry of Health, Ministry of Research, manufacture, pharmaceutical industry, and philanthropies, WHO, international body, US aid, house aid, welcome trust, everywhere. Get foundation, everywhere they have it. But for you to be able to get the grant, you should work together with the very high institution, university, working with the people who are really understand about scientific knowledge, working with the people who have what you call it, capacity, yeah, to do really conduct a good and have a high quality of research. Otherwise, you spend the money, you suffer yourself for doing research, yeah, you use a patient for your research, but at the end, there is none of the result can be used because the quality of research is bad. You should not do that. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jarir. The next question from Ais Amin Rais about effect of COVID-19 infection on the brain.
On the brain,
damage. Yes.
Brain damage. I think that's gonna be related to, because if you see our organ in the body, they are linked each other. If your lung are broken, there is no good oxygen supply to the whole body. Oxygen is kind of food for our other organ, so including brain. That's why there are symptoms like a confused, like a headache, like people now currently say there can be a patient like confused, you know. It's because supply oxygen into the brain is really down. Because what? Because the lung as supply of oxygen does not work well. But they're not including only in the brain, but including any organ, kidney, cardiovascular. That's why when you go to the hospital, patient die is because complication of COVID. So COVID itself not make people die, but because complication due to the COVID, they have brain, they get stroke, they get cardiovascular disease, kidney is broken, and then there is infection every in organ. This is what we call sepsis. That caused the death. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jarir. That's what we call that COVID-19 is a great imitator because the symptom is not specific on the lung, but also in another organs.
Yeah, they say they call this disease is 1,000 phases.
1,000 phases. Okay, participants, we have 4 minutes left, so I would like to give your opportunity to direct asking to Dr. Jarir by raise your hand, please. Is there anyone? Please raise your icon, raise your hand Raise hand, please. If you have any question. No? Okay. Please closing statement from Dr. Jarir Atubari for our session today.
Yeah, I think thank you very much for invite me to for this great event. I think one, because you are a future leader in this country, everywhere maybe. Yeah. So I think prepare yourself. Yeah. Study what you call it. Learn this pandemic, because this is only happened 100 years ago. So now you are the generation that experience this pandemic. Learn it much as possible, because we do not know 20 years ago, next 20 years, next 30 years. You become a leader and you are the one that make decision, because there may be coming again another pandemic. So learn as much as possible from this moment about how we save our community. I think this my
Thank you, Dr. Jarir. Learn as much as possible, participants. Wow, this is very interesting closing statement from Dr. Jarin. So thank you so much, Dr. Jarin, once again from our Universitas Islam Indonesia. Please, participant, give virtual applause for Dr. Jarir. This is the end of my session, the first session. I would like to thank you very much for the participant and Dr. Jarir. So the times I'm going to back to Guntur and Ilya for the next session. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah. And thank you. I will leave the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the moderator. Because of him, this conference can conduct nicely. I also want to say thank you to the speaker. Although in a short time, he transferred his excellent knowledge in order to give us a lot of new information. We hope all the participants are satisfied and pay attention as usual.
The link of attendance has been shared on the comment section. We will remind all of the participants to fill in. There will be 3 links that we will share. Please fulfill all of those, guys. For the next agenda, we will forward to the first session of oral presentation. On this session, we will be guided by Mrs. Febrianti Nurul Hidayah, STBSC MSc. Hello, Mrs. Febri, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Miss. On this session, there are 8 teams will be presented, so we hope all of the team to be ready on their session. And please always check your member before starting the presentation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Febri. The time is yours.
Thank you for Ilya and Guntur. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first oral session of the first international conference Labma Scientific Fair 2020. I am Febri. It's an honor for me to be delegated as moderator on this oral session for the next maybe 130 minutes. Before we start the oral session, I'm going to read the rules or terms of oral presentation. Okay, first one, presentation is conducted online using the Zoom meeting application. Second, the presentation is conducted for 15 minutes with 2 minutes of preparation, 7 minutes of presentation, and 5 minutes of question and answers. So on the last 1 minute, I will remind you when the time is 1 minute left. Third, participants are required to open the camera during presentation. And fourth, participants are required to turn off the microphone during the event and make turn it back on after the moderator and MC allowing it. And the last one, fifth, participants in the Zoom application must change their username with the following format: presenter _full name ICLSF, sorry. For example, presenter _Bagas Hari Hadi Pratomo underscore ICLSF. And then the sixth one, for the passive participants who want to ask question about the oral sessions, please type your question in the Q&A section. Sorry. And okay, those are the oral session terms. And without any further ado, let's begin with the first presentation, which will be presented by, wait a minute, the team of Melania Amanda Rahmawati, Mega Pertiwi, Fitria Khairunisa, and Diani Ulfieta Syafitri from Department of Psychology, Sultan Agung Islamic University, Semarang, Indonesia, with the title of Does Pandemic COVID-19 Influence Romantic Relationship? It is such an interesting topic. I remind you all the participants, if you have any question for Miss Melania's team, please write it on Q&A box, and I will read it for you and after she is done with the presentation. Okay, now, hello, Miss Melania. Are you there yet?
Hello.
Okay, please, Miss Melania and team, the time is 7 minutes, and on the last 1 minute, I will remind you when the time is 1 minute left. Okay, Miss Melania, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Miss Melania and team, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Melania Amanda Ramawati. So I from University of Islamic Sultan Agung Semarang. I like presentation my research by the title Does Pandemic COVID-19 Influence Romantic Relationship? COVID-19 or coronavirus is one type virus that dangerously attacks the respiratory system. This pandemic also has an impact on social, education, tourism, and economic affairs. Social distancing is one of the steps of prevent and control coronavirus infection, which result is limited direction interaction. One of the Indonesia government's effort is social distancing or work from home. It turns out that only has impact on the economy, education, and tourism aspect. The COVID-19 pandemic also has the potential to affect the life of couple and families. One big challenge in this pandemic condition is how to maintain intimate relationship, which depend on emotional and physical health. Research on romantic relationship show that external stressors such economic hardship, job demand, and disasters get within the stability of couple relationship. This study asked a survey with open-ended question and survey question with direct answer response. The sampling method was incidental sampling with the response criteria married, dating, and no official status. Data analysis employed was coding as categorization as well as proposal-wise analysis. There were 345 response at 13 to 51 years. The result of coding a categorization on what question made a relationship with a partner less harmonious during the COVID-19 pandemic were all as follow. One, they are barriers to meeting due to social reaction is do not preface a problem in the relationship, long distance relationship, lack of communication and or interaction, couple business. So this is the result of statistic analysis. One is prevention of relationship harmony is pandemic. There is a significant different prevention of harmony in terms of status state, where marriage status has the highest main rank compared to dating or non-official relationship, which H 20.546 P 0.00, which means that married subjects have the highest perception of harmony, followed by dating and no relationship. There is a significant difference in the frequency of conflict in terms of status state, where dating status has the highest main rate with H 10.226 P 0.006, which means that dating status has the highest frequency of conflict, followed by an unofficial status, and the lowest is marriage status. There is a significant difference in the frequency of negative emotional due to relationship problems during the pandemic in terms of status, where marriage status has the highest mean rank, which means having the highest frequency of negative emotional compared to the other two status. Number two, perception of relationship harmony in pandemic. There is significant difference in the increase in conflict in terms of the lack of the relationship, which H 14.517 P 0.00, where the relationship more than 2 years has the highest mean rate, which means that it has the highest increase in conflict, followed by 6 months to 1 year, 1 to 2 years, and last 1 to 6 months. Perception of relationship harmony in pandemic, increased conflict frequency of betrothed toward partners, and negative emotional in terms of communication intensity. There is significant difference in the increased conflict in terms of intensity of communication with H 12.441 P 0.00, where the rare frequency of communication has the highest mean rank, which means couples who rarely communication experience a high increase in conflict fall occasionally and frequently. The coronavirus affect romantic relationship, where during the COVID-19 pandemic there is an increase in conflict. So thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for Ms. Melania for a really quick presentation. Actually, we have a lot of time now. Please, the participants, you can ask questions on the Q&A box, and you can mention your name and also your institution. Okay, well, waiting the question from the participants. Maybe, wait a minute. Okay, oh, there is a question. Okay, there is a question from Umar Ibrahim Aliu to Ms. Melania's team. Assalamualaikum. I want to know the significance of this study to the body of knowledge. Okay, please, Ms. Melania, you might answer it.
Okay, thank you for a question. Thank you for your question. So give us some time to answer your question.
Okay, while waiting the answer of Miss Milenia, I remind you all the participants to type your questions on the Q&A box. And I think the committee already gave you the link for the attendance. So please follow the link and then fill the form. Okay, Miss Milenia, did you have the answer yet?
Hello? Hello?
Oh, okay. Is it
I
Media
will,
Pertiwi?
yes, I'm the member of Millennium Amanda. I will try to answer the question.
Okay,
Thank you for
yes,
the
please.
question. Thank you for the question. I want to know the significance of this study to the body of knowledge. The answer is inform the people about the how the pandemic effect couples. Thank you. That's the answer.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Media Pertiwi, for your answer. I hope Uma's question already answered well with that answer. Okay, because we only have one chance to ask the question, so that's it for Miss Millennia's team. Okay, thank you for Miss Millennia and team for your nice presentation and then for the answer. You guys can give her team applause or any icons on the Zoom. Okay, thank you, Miss Melania. Next one, I move on to the next presentation. Wait a minute. Okay, the next one will be from Risa Almaida, Alvia Putri Kolbi, Arinda Ayudhya Putri Rianto, and Diani Ufiata Syafitri. Again, it is from Department of Psychology, Islamic Sultan Agung University Semarang, Indonesia. Okay, maybe Miss Risa Almaida, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so Miss Risa Almaida, time is yours now for the next 7 minutes.
Thank you, Miss. Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, thank you.
Please start it now.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity. Such an honor to be here. I'm Risa Almaida from Sultan Agung Islamic University, here to present our paper called Korean Drama and Pandemic COVID-19. So what is COVID-19? Based on World Health Organization statement, COVID-19 is a contagious disease caused by a coronavirus that impact on all aspects of life, consists economic decline, increasing crime, violence, education system shift from conventional method to online method, and psychological aspects include feelings of fear and anxiety. So what is the main solution that our government issued to prevent the virus spread? It is PSBB, that basically a policy that requires people to stay at home unless it's urgent for them to go outside. So the pandemic and the implementation of PSBB actually caused, first, disrupt society's social function, and the second is psychological response called crisis, uncertainty, and loss of control. The psychological effects caused by this pandemic can affect productivity, psychological conditions, and also psychological well-being. When doing all the activities at home, there will be more free time. Therefore, activities that can reduce burnout during this pandemic are necessary. So if we take a look about Korean drama, or usually called drakor, Korean drama is one of the alternative for people to occupy their free time as well as coping strategy. CNNindonesia.com held an opinion poll regarding drakor series that were of interest during the COVID-19 pandemic. Result 15.3% of 288 respondents admit that they just wanted to watch drakor during a pandemic. If we take a look at one of the biggest streaming media, View experienced an increase of 35 until 40% for the active user aspect, while the viewing time aspect increased by 50% during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study using qualitative method in the form of exploratory qualitative research involved 5 respondents consists for women and 1 man, which are students from various universities in Central Java who watch Korean drama. The data collected from online structured interview via WhatsApp and was analyzed using coding and categorization. About the result and discussion, we found that our respondents start watching Korean drama from between 2008 until 2020. The respondents experienced an increase in aspect of intensity watching Korean drama during this pandemic. The unpredictable storyline, acting performance of such case, the visual of each actress and actor, the cinematography, also Korean cultures are what make Korean drama interesting for our respondents. It is consistent with another study, Prasanti's research, cite from Haironisa's statement that the spread of South Korean culture that has the most impact and effect globally is Korean dramas. We can see that Korean dramas have succeeded in dominating the Indonesian market. About the positive impact that our respondents experience are to entertain, to reduce stress, as mood booster, as a media to learn something new, so that watching Korean dramas become one of the coping strategies in dealing with stress. It is also in line with another study that Korean dramas are also needed for stress release, which can remove stressful thoughts when watching Korean dramas. Also, as diversion from stressful information about the pandemic and help them to stay at home, which is part of the government regulation in this pandemic. It is also consistent with prior study that Korean drama become daily activity because it have an entertaining and imaginative effect since it's usually close related to everyday life. So what about the negative impacts? The negative impacts of watching Korean drama also felt by our respondent that it makes them forget the time has passed, become lazier, and fantasizing about certain actors and actor. And others state that they prefer to watch Korean dramas than to socialize with their friends. We come to the conclusion, our research conduct on 5 respondents through interview, we found the entrenchment in public interest in Korean dramas impact positively and negatively towards their psychological condition. Watching Korean drama mostly act as stress release activity from the stressful caused by this COVID-19 pandemic, and the negative impact mostly about the relationship with others that can be family or friends, and additionally the problem with time and behavior. Lastly, about the suggestion and implication, for respondent, we suggest for them to keep dividing time between main activities and entertainment to avoid other problems that can be a source of distress. And also make the activity of watching Korean dramas not only as entertainment, but also source of wisdom and lessons. Secondly, for the family, it is expected to also be involved in the respondent's activity. And lastly, for future researcher, we suggest that it will be more generalizable if this interview involves not only students, but also various type of society. Moreover, to expand the correlation between Korean drama and its effect on all aspects of life that could be education, economic, and so on. I think that's all from me. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you for Ms. Risa for your nice presentation. It's such an interesting topic. And maybe any of the participants, maybe some of you are the key hopers that comes now for the Korean fans. Yeah. Okay, I remind you to ask question to Q&A box. I already solved some questions. Okay, the first question maybe for Nanda Maulidia from Islamic University of Indonesia. Is that PSBB or Korean drama that give most effective way for make people stay at home? Okay, that is the question. Please, Ms. Rita, maybe you can answer it now.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nanda Maulia, for the question. We think that if we see the case that it is an enchantment in public about the interest of Korean drama, we think that what make people stay at home mostly, because we know not only students but especially young people or maybe working people also are watching Korean dramas, and we think that it is make them make their spare time feel so that they can do activity at home rather than go outside. So I think it's actually help government to prevent the virus spread also. Thank you for the question. I hope it answer your question.
Okay, thank you for Ms. Risa's answer. Maybe we still have 4 minutes. Maybe another question. It is from Zulfa Purwina. I want to ask, what are your obstacles in conducting online interviews? Okay, please, Ms. Risa, you can answer it.
Thank you, Ms. Zulfa Purwina, for the question. Yeah, thank you. About the obstacles, we think that since it is in pandemic situation, we think that if it will be more effective if we can conduct an interview directly to respondents, but we see that we cannot do that because the limited latitude. So that we think the obstacle here is we cannot directly interview the respondents, so that by WhatsApp. Yeah, I think that's the only obstacle we experience.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lisa, for the answer. Okay, because the time is out. Once again, thank you for Ms. Risa and team for a nice presentation and topic as well. You guys can give the virtual applause for Ms. Risa and team. Okay, we move on to the third presentation, which will be presented by the team of Dian Pratama and Wulan Ruhiah Hanum from Department of Accounting, Universitas Airlangga, Surabaya, Indonesia, with the title of Past Generation to Achieve SDGs Post-Pandemic. Okay, this is Mr. Dian Pratama. Are you there yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Dian Pratama, the next 7 minutes is yours now.
Thank you, Ms. Febriati. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody, and the honorable all of the committee ICLSF 2020. In this great opportunity, I will explain and present about my idea, my opinion about the first generation to achieve SDGs post-pandemic. This is our team. The first is I am Dian Pratama as the corresponding author, and also my friends Wulan Ruhiah Hanum as the second author. And this is our agenda today.
Sorry, Mr. Dian, you can show the big, the biggest presentation, so you can see it. Good. Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is our agenda today. Firstly, we will explain about the background of the research and also the literature review. And the next is about the research method and also the result and discussion. The first is about the background of the research. We know in March 2020, the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak as a global pandemic. And the COVID-19 pandemic is continuous till now. The acceleration of its spread has also made the people afraid, panic, and also worried. not only affect of human psychology, the COVID-19 pandemic also affect all of the sector of life, including the achievement of SDGs 2030. And we know the COVID-19 pandemic hampers the achievement of SDGs. So this study aims to analyze how should the young generation in the facing post-pandemic era, and also what are the competencies that must have to achieve SDGs post-pandemic. The secondly, about the literature review of this research, the literature used in this study are SDGs and also first character. SDGs, we know that the SDGs is a global action plan that contains 17 goals and divided to 169 targets that are expected to be achieved in 2030. And the secondly is first character. Actually, first character is a combination of Prophet Muhammad character, because his character is generally accepted for human in the world, not only for Muslim. The research method, this research is using descriptive qualitative method with a phenomenological approach. The descriptive qualitative method is used to get a clear overview, detailed and accurate regarding to the role of the youth generation to achieve SDGs post-pandemic. And the phenomenological approach is applied to reveal the similarity of meaning, which is the essence of a concept or phenomena that is continuously and individually experienced by a group or individuals in their life. This is a result and discussion about the first generation. If before pandemic, we usually doing a face-to-face learning with our teacher and also our friends, but now suddenly we have to be familiar with the Zoom, Zoho meeting, Google Meet, Skype, and other application for our online study. This is a first change, and the first change is necessary first response. And one of the response to prepare the post-pandemic era is the concept of first generation, where the first generation is acronym from Fatona, Amanah, Siddiq, and also Tabligh. And now we will explain one by one about this character. The first is about the Fatona character or clever. Fatona is meaning a clever or intelligent. In the Fatona character is maybe including a 7 component skill the young generation must have to facing the post-pandemic era. The first is technical and ethical competencies. The technical and ethical competencies is a skill and ability to work consistently with the highest standards of integrity, independence, and also skepticism. The secondly is intelligence equation. It is the ability to acquire knowledge and use it in thinking, reasoning, and solving the problems. The third is creativity equation. It is the ability to utilize knowledge for renewal, make a connection, explore potential result for the creation of new idea. The fourth is digital question. A digital question is awareness and application of existing and emerging technology, capability, strategic practice, and digital culture. The five is emotional question. It is the ability to identify one's own emotion and the emotion of other and can use it to organize and manage tasks or team. The sixth vision question. Vision question is the ability to anticipate trend accurately and think innovatively. The second is experience question. The experience questions is the ability and skill to understand customer expectation of achieving desired result and creating the value. The secondly about the amanah concept. Amanah is mean the trust and integrity. The concept of amanah is refers to the development of responsibility, where amanah means trust. Amanah requires the young generation have good idealism and high integrity, so that they can be trusted by others and also trust by society. The third is Siddiq. Siddiq is in English is honestly, where honestly is one of the key of success. In my life, I have a motto that success is have the key, and the 3 K of success is the first is honestly, where honestly will create trust from other, and the secondly is humble, where humble will create a respect from other, and it will build a strong support system for us. And the third is helpful, the helpful is will create a good networking. And the last concept, the last character is tablik, or in English, maybe tablik is can meaning frankly. The concept of tablik refers to good delivery in communication, nothing to cover up, or frankly, the concept of tablik teach the young generation to always be confident in conveying their idea and always be confident to convey the truth and admit the mistake they have made. Thank you for attention. Maybe my presentation enough. If you have a question, we will discuss in this opportunity. Okay,
Thank you,
Miss Febrianti.
Ian, for your nice presentation. It's punctual 7 minutes actually. Okay, please for the participants, if you have any questions for Mr. Ian, you can type it on Q&A box. And remember to maybe put your name and your institution so we know who you are. Okay, while waiting the question from the participants, we remind you to fill the attendance that the committee already gave the link on the chat session. Okay, is there any question from the participants? I'm going to read the Q&A box. Okay, there is a question from Piani Ufieta for Sultan Agung Islamic University. What method did the study use? Is it literature review or qualitable phenomenology? Who are the respondents? Okay.
Okay,
so
thank you.
3 questions
Okay.
from Diana.
Okay. Thank you for a question. This research is using the descriptive qualitative method. So the respondent is my religion teachers, my religion lecturer in my university. So the respondent, it is a society beside me. So I'm not doing interview, but I'm doing the live observation. So the phenomenology is used to describe the people knowledge about first generation. So this research is using descriptive qualitative, not study literature. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dian, for the answer. We still have actually 4 minutes. If any of you wants to ask, please write it on Q&A box, or maybe you can raise your hand and ask it. Okay. There is a question from Dito Zuhli, Islamic University of Indonesia. Actually, what is the many tasks to prepare the youth generation as a next stakeholders? Okay. Please, Mr. Dian, answer Dito's question.
Okay, thank you for question. Maybe I will try to answer your question. I think we must have not only have intelligence equation, but also we must have good character to prepare our future, because we are will be the next stakeholder. So we must prepare to be a young generation have excellent and also morality. Maybe enough, Miss Febrianti.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dian, for the answer. Okay, so because the time is out now, we already answered 2 questions. So thank you so much for Mr. Dian and team. Please, participants, you can give their team a virtual applause. Okay, thank you. The next one, wait a minute, I will read it aloud. The fourth presentation will be presented by the team of Marisa Falasifa Dinda Anissa Fitria and Faradiba Ramadhani Hakim from Faculty of Psychology, Sultan Agung Islamic University Semarang, Indonesia, with the title of Coping Strategies Among College Students During COVID-19 Pandemic. Okay, Miss Malisa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. So, Miss Malisa, for the next 7 minutes is your time.
Am I the one who needs to share my PowerPoint?
Yes, please. You can share your screen.
Wait a second.
Okay, while waiting the preparation of Miss Melissa, I remind you to type your question on Q&A box.
Can everyone see my PowerPoint?
Yeah, almost. It's still black screen. Okay. Okay, you may start it now.
Before that, am I audible?
Yes, we already.
My voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear your voice.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before that, thank you, moderator, and also the honorable the committee of LSF UII. Today, I would like to present my research entitled Coping Strategies Among College Students During COVID-19 Pandemic. In this research, we have 3 authors, which is me myself. My name is Malisa Falasifa, along with my 2 partners, which is Denda and also Farah Diba. So, okay, where is the background? Wait a second. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, the background of this study is that the coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, which first appeared in Wuhan, China, have become a pandemic that has spread throughout the world. The virus has an impact on all aspects of life, including education. Most educational institutions in the world are facing a shift in the way of learning and teaching due to regulations for social distancing. College students take lessons from home or online or do not meet face-to-face. Hence, this sudden shift from the classroom to virtual space impacts on the mental health issues like stress, anxiety, and also depression of the college students. So our method is descriptive explorative analysis through literature review, a literature search on Google, coping strategies. Second, college students, pandemic, and also COVID-19 have revealed 13 articles in the end with a total of 12,473 participants of college students around the world. The preparation of this study uses the PRISM or preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and also meta-analysis method, which is relevant for the narrative review. In this PRISM method itself, it's divided by 4 processes, which is first identification process. In this process, actually we revealed 19 articles based on the Google Scholar search. And the second process is under the screening process. We also revealed 19 articles based on abstracts, keywords, and also the abstracts, keyword, and also the number in Google Scholar. And the third process is under the eligibility. In this process, we have excluded 6 articles based on several reasons. First reasons is that the studies that the published under before 2020, hence the study doesn't use the context of pandemic COVID-19. And another reasons is the studies that doesn't use college students as the subjects. And under the included process, in the end of the day, we have revealed 13 articles that is relevant with our inclusion criteria, which is the
coping strategies and also the college students. And last but not least is studies that use the context of COVID-19. The result and discussion is here. This study revealed that the coping strategies used by college students are problem-focused coping and also emotion-focused coping, which can be observed in this table. In here, there are two types of coping, which is first problem-focused coping and second is emotion-focused coping. Under the problem-focused coping, have revealed the coping activities, which is by seeking social support that can be reviewed in study number 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. And also the second types of coping is emotion-focused coping that have been divided by 3 coping activities, which is first positive reappraisal that can be reviewed in 5 studies, which is studies number 1, 5, 9, 10, and also 13. And second is accepting responsibility that can be reviewed in study number 4. And last but not least is the distancing activities that can be reviewed in study number 8, 11, and 12. And our discussion is here. COVID-19 has become the most devastating public health crisis in 2020. It causes a great deal of mental health issues in college students as all education institutions are closed, previous academic systems are shifting, and students are uncertain about their academic year. Several studies have revealed that prevalence of moderate to severe stress, anxiety, and also depression have increased respectively because of the extremely exceptional living situations and conditions, including social isolation, challenges of remote learning, and also fear of getting infected. Hence, a good coping strategy is needed in order to deal with these issues, as effective coping can improve an individual's ability to solve problems and manage emotions better. What is actually coping strategies? A coping is usually defined as the investment of one's own effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems in the face of stress. Different individuals have different type of coping strategies. This is the reasons why we would like to research what type of coping strategies that majorly used by mostly college students around the world. Another discussion is the findings of this study have revealed that the coping strategies that being used college students are first problem-focused coping by seeking social support. And we have revealed that most of the students are seeking social support from their friends, from their family, or even from the school or university. It shows that this external support from their family, friends is very important in order for these students to face these types of challenges. So we need to understand that as a parents or as a friends, we need to support each other for us to be, in order to be strong to face this type of challenges. And also we have emotion focused coping by positive reappraisal. Most of the college students are doing like praying to God or even doing their hobby and also self-talk. And second is accepting responsibility by understanding their role as a student. And last but not least is distancing. The students are avoiding going to public in order to avoid themselves to be getting infected by this type of virus. And our conclusion is that the COVID-19 pandemic has given a significant adverse impact on the mental health of college students. The major coping strategy adopted by the students are first, problem-focused coping by seeking social support from their friends, family members, and also university. And second, emotion-focused coping by positive reappraisal. Our suggestions and implications are here. The education institutions should work together with the government of each country to maintain the college students' mental health and engage their students in several online activities, including quizzes, webinars, and psychological sessions. And our study implication is the findings of this paper will be beneficial to understand the coping strategies that used by college students to maintain their mental health and to face the challenges of online education. So that's all from our presentation. We can go to the question and answer session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Malisa, for a nice presentation. It's actually exactly 7 minutes. So we are now in Q&A session. I will remind you to please type your question on Q&A box, and then you can type your name and your institution as well. Okay, while waiting the question, I remind you to please click the attendance link that the committee already typed on chat box, and then there will be there was one plenary session, and the next two plenary session will be going on in the afternoon. So please stay on this international conference. Okay, is there any question from the participants? I will check the Q&A box. We still have maybe 5 minutes of Q&A session. Okay. Okay, while waiting, maybe I can ask Ms. Marisa about your study. Maybe it's in your perspective, what your private strategy, like you did it yourself. What strategy to cope this COVID-19 as student?
Me myself, I usually use those two types of coping, which is first the problem focused coping by seeking social support like my friends, my best friends, or even getting support from my family. And also second of all, the emotion focused coping by positive reappraisal. Usually based on the previous presentation by Miss Risa, they have present about the Korean drama. I also, during this pandemic, during this self-isolation at home, most of us have a lot of time to do, right? So I usually like watching Korean dramas at home in order to find another distraction, in order to escape from this like stress or even anxiety because of this uncertain situation, right?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Marisa, for the answer. Okay, maybe the participants, please ask the question on Q&A answer. So maybe some of you maybe can give feedback or question about how actually to cope this kind of pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic at your home. And then maybe you can ask about how to get support from other people or tips and tricks about the topic on Ms. Melissa's topic. Any question? So far, there is no question yet. Okay, maybe while waiting the question, I will remind you that there will be plenary session after this, after the break. The keynote speaker will be Prof. Puho Salim at 1 p.m. or in the afternoon with the title of Economic Recovery from Recession. So it is such a good topic to follow on. Okay, because there is no other questions from the participants, we thank you, Ms. Melisa and team, for your nice presentation. Okay, you all can give Ms. Melisa virtual applause through Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you, welcome. Okay, for the next presentation, wait a minute, I will read it for you. Okay, the fifth presentation will be from the team of Ilmi Durotun Nasiha and Lucy Asa Ahani from Department of Psychology, Faculty of Social Science and Political Science from University of Brawijaya Malang, Indonesia, with the title of The Rush Before the Storm, assessing the role of fear of COVID-19 toward panic buying behaviors in the COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia. Okay, Miss Ilmi, are you there? Okay, good. Maybe you can put your mic a bit closer so we can hear you clearly. Okay, okay, good. Okay, Miss Ilmi, for the next 7 minutes, it's yours now.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony Dosanja. I'm from University of Georgia. First of all, I would like to thank Labma Scientific UII for allowing me to present the result of this research with the title "Without Before the Storm, the Goal of Fear of COVID-19 Through Panic Buying Behavior During COVID-19 Pandemic in Indonesia." Second, I thank my lecturer who has guided me to always spread the kindness in his heart. Thank you, Mrs. Lucy. We all know that at the beginning of the year, we were all struck by a virus that we know as COVID-19. The spread of the virus is fairly fast and the status has become a pandemic, no longer an epidemic. The phenomenon of the emergence of COVID-19 this year has made many changes to lifestyle, work environment, and other situations. Everyone around the world is trying to survive because at the beginning of the emergence of COVID-19, it was not certain when this pandemic would end. One of the new behaviors that has emerged in this pandemic is panic buying. In the announcement of the first case in Indonesia, many citizens have made large purchases to survive and avoid scarcity. Other than that, there is also an emergence of hoarding behavior during a pandemic, one of which is the hoarding of masks. It has an impact on increasing the price of masks by up to 1,400% due to the high demand for goods. Panic buying and fear of COVID-19. Fear is a form of emotion that is formed because of danger or threatening situation. The response to fear in individuals is in the form of fight or flight, where the individual behaves in the direction of running away or frightening the threatening situation. Situation uncertainty and lack of information causes fear in addition to other psychological and physical problems in some populations, especially people who are constantly involved in a place of war, a place of disaster, conflict, terrorism, and others. This research is quantitative method and simple linear regression statistical method. Data collection of respondents using progressive sampling technique and was carried out online through the bit.ly/COVID-19 questionnaire. Responding in the study were 990 respondents with criteria of Indonesian citizens aged at least 18 years old and affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, social, economical, educational, and etc. The planning, the research study, we just panic buying scale. The scale has established as a converse alpha of 0.9045. It consists of 15 separable items, which means it supports the dimension or theory. And then the fear of COVID-19 scale is used Ahouse et al. 2020. This scale has a converse alpha of 0.82, which consists of 7 separable items, which means it supports dimension or theory.
Sorry, Miss Ilmi, for interrupting you. Can you put your mic closer because we cannot clearly hear you? Okay, thank you.
The panic buying scale, the study used CJS panic buying scale 2020. The scale has a converse alpha of 0.945, which consists of 15 separable items, which means it supports the dimension or theory. And fear of COVID-19 scale used Ahouse et al. 2020. The scale has a converse alpha of 0.82, which consists of 7 separable items, which means it supports dimension or theory. The results of the study are acceptance of the alternative hypothesis and rejection of the null hypothesis. Because there is a significant value, namely 0.00, where the p less than 0.05. Then it has a role of 13%, and the other 87% is explained with other variables not is not examined in the study. We all have to know that many psychological factors can encourage individuals to panic buying, as consumer behavior, anxiety and fear, situation uncertainty, and media exposure. There is also social trust, perception of health, perception of threat, and others. Therefore, individuals try to feel safe and survive by doing panic buying because this behavior can reduce fear and anxiety in individuals about certain situations. The conclusion of this result conducted by researchers on 990 respondents who are Indonesian citizens ages at least 18 years old and affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. It can be concluded that there is a role from fear of COVID-19 in panic buying behavior during the COVID-19 pandemic in Indonesia. In addition, this research is expected to be a reference for future studies that will develop the topic of pandemic COVID-19, especially in Indonesia. Besides, this research is also also expected to be a reference for the government in making policies for handling pandemics to make it even better, especially in handling food stocks and social funding assistance. Thank you for your attention. Any questions?
Okay, thank you for Ms. Ilmi for such a nice presentation. Even it's quite difficult to hear you, but it's fine because we can read your presentation as well. Next one will begin its session. Okay, remember to type your questions on Q&A box because we have 5 minutes. Okay, the first question is from Amira Octaviani. The question is, what other factors do you know that can influence panic buying? Okay, that is the question from Amira. Okay, Miss Ilmi or your partner can answer the question.
I know that many psychological factors can encourage individuals to panic buying, including consumer behavior, anxiety and fear, situation uncertainty, and media exposure. There's also social trust, as religious trust or political trust, perception of threat, perception of health, and others. Therefore, individuals try to feel safe and survive by doing panic buying because this behavior can reduce their anxiety and fear about their situation. Yeah. Has it been answered?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ilmi, for the answer. Any other questions? We still have about maybe 3 minutes left. Hello. Maybe I'm going to ask Ms. Ilmi about your topic from your perspective, or maybe from yourself, maybe your family or your neighbor or any of your relatives. Does anyone in your environment or your family, neighbor or relative experience panic buying maybe during the pandemic, when maybe on March or the first pandemic came to Indonesia? Is there anyone in your environment experience that, and what was your solution about panic buying?
In my family, there's no one who do panic buying behavior, and in my environment house kontrakan, there's no one who do panic buying behavior. The solution is I always believe there. Sorry, I speak in bahasa. Can I speak in bahasa?
Yeah, it's fine. Any term you like.
Okay. Just so. Jadi kalau saya solusinya adalah the solution is saya selalu percaya bahwasannya
besok akan ada lagi gitu stok dari pemerintah gitu, bahwa saya akan percaya kepada pemerintah bahwa pemerintah bakal melaksanakan dan menjaga masyarakatnya agar pasokan pangannya terjaga gitu. Nah, di sini juga saya meyakinkan kepada orang tua saya untuk membeli barang secukupnya gitu. Jadi supaya tidak tidak merugikan banyak orang gitu. Jadi belilah secukupnya barang-barang untuk kebutuhan seminggu atau 2 minggu atau sebulan gitu. Tapi jangan sampai membeli barang yang berlebihan. Okay, thank you. For the answer. I'm so nervous. Okay, I will translate it because maybe some of us they are from from abroad, so I will translate it. So Ms. Ilmi said that maybe we can buy enough or some needs only for 2 weeks until 1 month our needs. So we don't need to buy a lot of stuff because we believe that government will provide us the necessity that we need. Okay, thank you for Miss answer. Okay, because time is out now. We thank you for Miss Ilmi's team for such a nice presentation. You guys can give Miss Ilmi virtual applause or any icons on Zoom. You can give her as appreciation. Okay, thank you. Okay, the next presentation, let me see, the sixth one. Okay, it is from Anissa Sekar Kumala, Hasemi Rafsanjani, and Khairul Anam from Department of Information System Engineering, University of Trunojoyo, Madura, Bangkalan, Indonesia, and with collaboration of Department of Industrial Engineering, University of Trunojoyo, Madura, Bangkalan, Indonesia. So the last 5 groups are from psychology, now it's from engineering. So in the title of IPEE, Intelligent Livestock Competitive Prices Forecasting System, an integrated application based on time series ARIMA forecasting model for predicting the livestock commodity prices. Okay, Miss Anissa Sekar, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear that.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you anyway, Miss.
Okay, Miss Anissa, you may share your screen and for the next 7 minutes.
All right. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Maybe we can show. Okay, good.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We are here from my team, Hasemi Rafsanjani, Khairul Anam, and me, Anissa Sekar Kumala, as delegation of the author. And our application of our research called IV, or Intelligent Livestock Commodity Prices Forecasting System, or an integrated application based on time series ARIMA forecasting model for predicting the livestock commodity prices. And here are the backgrounds of our research. Recently, animal food commodity prices have fluctuated in recent years. These fluctuations generally occur on the eve of holiday or other feast day. Fluctuations are caused by market dynamics that can change supply and demand, resulting in market prices, especially for animal food commodities, becoming unstable. Therefore, a system that can monitor and predict the changes of animal food commodities prices in the domestic market is indispensable in order to maintain price stability itself. And the method, this research is an observation applied research or practical problem solving with a series of digital simulation and analysis of problem objects. Data and information collection is carried out by reviewing literature, books, journals, and several articles that are relevant to the context of the research. In addition, the data processing and application will apply the ARIMA, or autogressive integrated moving average method, to determine the predicted value. And this application designed in this study are types of web-based application that are constructed using PHP, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS languages. There are the program languages. The tools and materials used in our research are as follows. For the first one, for the tools, we use cameras, smartphone, Visual Studio Code, some Modular Creator, DaVinci Resolve, and InVisio Studio. And the next one is the materials are Internet Prototype Designs Library for Computing. And talking about the result and discussion, this research outputs is a system in the form of web-based app called IV, or Intelligent Livestock Commodity Prices Forecasting System. And IV is a system that implements the auto-regressive integrated moving average, or we commonly call that ARIMA model, as its working principle. IV serves to monitor the market and provide early warning through a prediction of price movement. The interface of IV will be shown in the next slide. So here we go, guys. So basically, the IV has two models. For the first one for admin, and the next one is for user. And this one is for admin. And now we are uploading the data, and we importing that. And next we exported that and upload. And so this is the interface of the price, dates, I mean like week, month, and year. And then we import that. And the chart will be shown as soon as possible. And this one is for the beef data of the price. And this is the action. We can edit and we can delete that. And then we upload that. And these are for the admin. So that was the chart of the beef data prices. And next one, we're gonna move to the user. So this is the user. For user, I mean, yeah, we can the homepage, the price table, the week, month, year price will be shown as soon as possible as well, and then the chart as well. And we're gonna see the block in the greenish block are the forecasted value of prices that we have forecasted in this application. and we can change the week that we want, like this. Like I said before, that the greenest block in the predicted or forecasted value of prices of the livestock commodity include the prices, week, month, and year. So this is the end of our interface. So the conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, IV can work properly without constraint by applying ARIMA as its working principle. The recommended prediction time range is about 1 to 6 months due to the accuracy and precision of the predicted value. Additionally, the app cannot be used to make a long-term prediction. Suggestion and implication, IV could help the community in minimizing the impact of socioeconomic that caused by fluctuation. The advice of this research is as follows. For the first one, the implementation of IV should be done in the near future through the application of original building techniques. And the last one is IV development should continue annually. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for a nice presentation, Ms. Anissa. Okay, now we are going to Q&A session. I remind you to please write your question on the Q&A box, and then I will read it for you, and then will be answered by the speaker. And okay, while waiting the question, I remind you to click the attendance on the chat box. The first attendance, we can reset like that. And then for the afternoon plenary session, there will be attendance as well. So please stay tuned in the afternoon for this international conference by Labma. Okay, is there any question from the participants? Please type your name or your institution on the Q&A box with your questions to Ms. Anissa. Second question about the IVEE, Intelligent Livestock Commodity Prices Forecasting System. And question. If there is no question, maybe I can ask a question. Maybe what is okay? Maybe on behalf in your team, did you already implement this forecasting system, or maybe you already share it to your maybe environment, or maybe any stakeholders that need this application?
Talking about sharing our application, yeah, Miss.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, basically, this is a new innovation of our team. Basically, previous we found a similar technology like this, but we do recover or new in innovate, motivate, innovate this application. For the previous is for the stock or saham, but in this moment we change it to the economic, socio-economic side, and we have not shared into our environment because it is still new for me, and my team realized that we still need a new research, detailed research more, and I think we will publish it soon because we already made the application in web test for the admin and for the user, like I told before. So I think this is ready for launching. So yeah, wish me luck for that.
Okay, thank you. Good luck for your team then.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any more question? We still have maybe 3 minutes. Please type on Q&A box if you have any question, or you are wondering about the application. You can ask further more to Ms. Anissa's team. Okay, anybody who wants to ask? Okay, if there is no questions anymore, and so yeah, thank you for Ms. Anissa for your nice presentation, and good luck for your team for the application.
Thank you so much. Please apologize me if I did some mistakes, guys.
Okay, give a virtual applause to Ms. Anissa's team through Zoom. Okay, we are going to the next presentation, and then we are sorry because we missed this presentation. Actually before Miss Anissa's turn, but it is okay. So the next presentation will be the team of Miss Nurul Aidatul Fitria, Brilianza Azharul Mujahidin, and Andi Nugraha. They are from three different departments. Department of Economic Science, IPB University Bogor, and then Department of Agro-Industrial Technology, IPB University as well, and then the third one is Department of Plant Protection, IPB University as well. And the title of their presentation will be Social Capital Peace Parallel, Sustainability Analysis and Elaboration Strategy to Achieve Sustainable Development Goals during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, Miss Nurul Aidatul Fitria, are you there yet?
Yes, sorry, can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can clearly hear your voice.
Would I share?
Okay, Miss Nurul and friends, for the next 7 minutes, the time is yours.
Okay, I will want to share my slide presentation before. have see the slide presentation?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nuraidatu Fitria. I'm presenter from this group. Today, I want to present our research in social capital-based parallel sustainability analysis and elaboration strategy to achieve sustainable development goals during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our team. The background our research are the COVID-19 pandemic has caused many problems in various sectors. The implementation of lockdown and large-scale social restriction made it difficult to distribute foodstuff from producer to consumer, and also to deliver humanitarian aid. This made it then qualities even weather. The pandemic 19 also result in increased unemployment, so that many people were starving because they couldn't afford food. This certainly hinders the realization of sustainable development goals. Number 2 is zero hunger, and number 10 is reduce inequalities. In West Java, reviving the best parrot is a solution. Best parrot, a Sundanese traditional of collecting about 1 spoon of rice in every resident house that is planted on a bamboo. Its implementation in almost all regions in West Java, and it has a potential to become society safe net. So a question is, can be best parrot applied in COVID pandemic like today? So the research objectives were, first is describing implementation of best parrot, the second is analyzing the sustainable potential of best parrot, and the third is providing elaboration strategy recommendation in the implementation of best parrot to achieve sustainable development goals during the COVID-19 pandemic. This research using qualitative methods by collecting data from 100 studies, and then the sustainability analysis use REPES-MDS method, and the elaboration strategy use SWOT analysis. The result of our research are philosophy of best parrot, best name from Sunda language, are best is rice and parrot, the sound of object being dropped. The traditional has been on 1980, and its representation philosophy of like Sundanese people is Sili Asi, Sili Asa, and Sili Asu. The implementation of best parrot is conventional, that best parrot operator as patrolling officer around to one house into another house for take best parrot result. The best parrot result will manage and distribute to society in need. Benefit of best parrot are reducing hunger and inequalities in society. For sustainable analysis, best parrot based from economic dimension, the score is 76.62, means sustainable with the most influential attribute is meeting common needs. And then the social dimension sustainable analysis, the score is 85.6. The attribute of social safety net, the most influential attribute. And then the ecological dimension, the score is 85.92, means sustainable with the most influential attribute is the duration of program implementation in the community. And then for elaboration strategy, after we determine internal and external factor from best practice in pandemic COVID-19, we formulate strategy from SO. Strategy is being revitalized into an economic institution. For WO strategy, using technology innovation. For ST strategy, to making a habit of society to help each other for fulfillment of food. And the last for WT strategy, making special policies regulate the implementation of best practice. The conclusion of our research are best practice is the Sundanese tradition of being the free from the community have benefit in reducing hunger and social disparities in society. The second, based on the economic, ecological, and social dimension, best practice has a good index category with a sustainable status. And the last elaboration strategy best practice during the COVID-19 are revitalization into economic institution, using technology innovation, making habit a society, making special policies that regulate the implementation of best practice. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for Ms. Nurul for nice presentation, and it's such an interesting topic. I remind you all participants to type your questions on Q&A box so I can read it for you, and then Ms. Nurul can answer it. And then I remind you as well, the attendance, I think already closed because the attendance was closed at 10:50. It's now 10:52. So we are sorry about that. Okay, please ask questions to Miss Nurul and team. They are from IPB Bogor. And remember to type your name and your institution if you have questions about BS Paralek. Yeah. Okay, while waiting the participant question, maybe I ask a question to Ms. Nurul. In your neighborhood, is Paralek implemented there, or maybe in your teams, maybe Brillianza or Mr. Adi's neighborhood, is that Paralek implemented or not?
Okay, for the in West Java before, now is no region implementation based Paralek because it's the is from for the region implementation is best Paralek in Purwakarta. The head region is government implementation the best Paralek for the daily activity. Just name is Iparelek. So in the all the West Java, never institution of recommended policy-nya. So we just recommendation to make a policy recommendation for all region in West Java can apply the best Paralek. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nurul, for the answer of my question. Okay, the next one, there is a question from Umar Ibrahim Aliu from Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. Oh, from Nigeria. He asks about, I want to know more about this Paralek. Maybe you can describe it more about Paralek.
Yes. Okay, I want to answer the question from Umar Ibrahim Aliu. Beras Paralek is the traditional of Beras Paralek is the traditional of Sundanese community, which is carried out by collecting rice as a spoonful or stirful of rice in bumbung bamboo. Its mean in Sundanese is bumbung awi. Which is taken by officer to manage from one house into one house is usually is one week to take the best Paralek result, and the best Paralek result to for give to help the poor people or can help to improve the social in region, and the basic of best Paralek to help the poor people or is not a woman in food, just like in rice. For the object for best Paralek use rice and maybe somehow use money for give for activity best Paralek. Maybe that's all.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nurul, for the answer. And then thank you as well for Mr. Umar for the questions. Okay, so maybe we have one more question if anyone wants to ask. Actually, it's still 11, 2 minutes to 11, so we actually still have more time until 11:30. Anyone wants to ask? Okay, if there is no more question, please give first of all applause to Ms. Nurul. We thank you, Ms. Nurul, for your nice presentation, and then give us knowledge about traditional stuff from Sunda.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for my mistake, everyone.
Okay, thank you. The next one, the last but not the least, is from the team of, oh no, it's individual. So it's from Miss Risma Galuh Pitaloka Fahdin. She is from English Department of State Islamic Institute or IAIN Kediri, Indonesia. And then her topic is students' perception toward the use of TikTok in learning English vocabulary. It's such an interesting. We will discuss about TikTok. Maybe some of you have TikTok application, so please prepare your questions on Q&A box, and then next we will ask and discuss more about it. So, Miss Risma, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Could you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
I will open the screen.
Okay, take your time to share the screen. Okay, so Miss Risma, for the next 7 minutes is yours.
Firstly, thank you for the opportunity of this event and the honorable for the all of committee who held this event and all of the participants who watched their videos. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, thank you for having me as the participant of this research. My name is Risma Galuh and this research is, the title of this research is Students' Perception Toward the Use of TikTok in Learning English Vocabulary. I'm from IAIN Kediri, English Department. So let's get started. TikTok as one of the most popular applications today. Influence the growth of its users significantly. As stated from the data of CNBC Indonesia, mentioned TikTok active users until July 2020 reached more than 689 million users. This research specifically discussed about vocabulary learning and describe the influence of this application to improve vocabulary for students in junior high school and senior high school. This application discussed in this research has features of video sharing, which can be used for educational purposes besides entertainment function. The growth of content creators that teach everything based on their background knowledge takes positive impact on people who watch their videos. It shows through hashtag Sama-Sama Belajar that can show many videos related to sharing information about anything. Nowadays, English language can be learned from TikTok too. And you can search it by typing Belajar Bahasa Inggris on search tool. User can find many videos related to it. And why vocabulary? Based on Patahudin 2017, students will difficult to understand and comprehend the meaning of dialogue if they lack of vocabulary knowledge. And mastering vocabulary become a key role in language use. A learner who has much vocabulary knowledge, the more they can success to understand their ideas or convey their ideas. So I use this method, research design, by applying an online questionnaire as instrument, described in descriptive ways. The amount of the participants are 14, and junior high school were 6, and senior high school were 8. Randomly for many cities in Indonesia, voluntarily were the part of this research. Students filled an online questionnaire that included 5 multiple choice questions and 1 open-ended, which was short answer question. So the result and discussion. The first question I asked, do you think that English material videos on TikTok help you a lot to learn English? This question asks to know participant point of view about learning English on TikTok. The result show that all of participants agree with this question. And the next slide about participant main obstacle in learning English. This question, what's your main obstacle in learning English? Is that vocabulary? This question asks to know whether vocabulary as their principal challenge to learn English or not. According to the result, 78% of participants thought that vocabulary be their primary challenge to mastery the language, and the rest of it considered the primary obstacle for them isn't vocabulary. So through open-ended question, the researcher asked about uh, 3 participants main obstacle in learning English, and the result showed that they feel difficult on pronunciation, grammar, and listening. So the next is how vocabulary affect the participant understanding. This question aims to know how vocabulary affect in their ability when they face the real text, listen to something, and speak in English. Data indicate that 92% of participants feel the benefit of improving vocabulary, and the rest of the participants talk vice versa. The next question about vocabulary content on TikTok are easy to understand or not. The result indicate that all of participants agree that videos on TikTok easy to understand and easy to learn vocabulary from those videos. And the last question about vocabulary content video improve your vocabulary knowledge. And this question is located to know student views about using TikTok as one of the tools improve their vocabulary skill and the effect they get. Based on the result, 92 of participants agree that this video can improve their vocabulary skills, and while the rest participants disagree with it. So the conclusion, using TikTok as the media for learning language can be considered nowadays. Students express positive responsive of English material contents that increase their vocabulary by watching those videos. The finding of this research show that most of students feel that short video of English material on TikTok help them to develop their English vocabularies. Students show positive feedback of utilizing TikTok as their language learning media, that the English content videos are easy to understand, and most of them think that improving vocabulary can make them more understand when they read, listen, and speak in English. So the suggestion and implication. Since this research isn't provide large sample participant enough, and it's still lack of experiment data to examine students' vocabulary improvement through learning TikTok, maybe by using pre-test and post-test, the researcher suggests for the future research to expand sample participant and can do experiment to test the student to make research more valuable. And the implication, the majority of participants show positive responses about learning English, especially vocabulary through TikTok application. Short video on TikTok make the participant easy to understand, and the majority of the participants agree that they feel they improve their ability on vocabulary knowledge. So this is the end of my presentation. Let me know if you have some question related to my topic.
So thank you very much for Ms. Risma for your nice presentation. And then we are now move on to Q&A session. I remind you to participate in Q&A session with typing your question on Q&A box, and then remember to type your institution as well. Okay, the first question is from Muhammad Bernadib from IAIN Kediri. And then his question is, how do you validate the questions given during the pandemic? Because one of the important things in educational research is how research instruments, including questions, have appropriate and valid reliability. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Risma.
Yes. Thank you for your question. I would like to answer. Actually, I use a questionnaire, an online questionnaire, for gathering information from the participants. But also, I suggest that this research doesn't provide lacks of experiment data to examine student vocabulary improvement by through learning on TikTok, because there is no test to check students' understanding, for example, by pre-test and post-test. So this research is based on online questionnaire. Yes, online questionnaire, not test, experiment test. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Risma, for your questions. Another questions. I think it's quite the same question from Sagar Giri. How was your survey done? Was it enough to collect exact data?
Yes. Thank you for your question. How was your survey done? I have done my survey. Yes, I still realize that my data is still enough, not enough for the collect data. So for the future research, I suggest that for the future researcher to expand the sample data. I just gather information from 14 students. I mean, so it is not enough, I think.
Okay, thank you for Mrs. Mas for your answer. The next question, because we actually still have enough time, from Nanda Maulidia from Islamic University of Indonesia. According to you and your team, from all parts of study English, for example, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and speaking, which part is the most important from study English for first learner?
According, in my honest opinion, important for studying English, actually vocabulary, because when we don't still have lack of vocabulary, we cannot understand what they say, what we are listening to, and what we read, something like that. So for the young learner, have to learn vocabulary also, based on beside on grammar, of course, the important skill too. But in my honest opinion, I think that one of the most important from study English is vocabulary. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more question for Ms. Isman, because it is the last presentation and then we maybe still have time? And please put your question on Q&A box. May I ask a question to Ms. Risma?
Yes.
Because you're from English department, and maybe next time you will be teacher or lecturer. Will you implement or apply this TikTok application for your students to learn English? And what is your suggestion to lecturer or teachers out there about this application?
Okay, thank you for your question. Actually, I agree with to use TikTok as one of media to learn English, but it is so many distraction because TikTok is created for entertainment purposes, not educational purposes. So it's still like of future to education purposes. So if student want to learn it by TikTok, it have to support by guidance or teacher. So maybe I would like to teach my student by TikTok, so student not boring about it. If TikTok still exists in my era, so this is my answer.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Risma, for your answer. Okay, because maybe we actually still have time, but maybe it's enough for us, for Ms. Risma. Thank you very much for your nice presentation. And then you guys, all the participants, can give her virtual applause through Zoom. Thank you. Okay, well, finally, we are in closing of our first oral session. Thank you for all speakers for your wonderful presentation. You have done your job really well. And then on behalf of committee, we are sorry if we have any mistakes during this first oral session of our first international conference, Labma Scientific Fair 2020. And I thank you for the committee for having me on this session. I'm sorry if I have any mistake. And my suggestion is please stay healthy, stay happy, and be productive even in this COVID-19 pandemic situation. Well, finally, I say wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I give it back to the MC, Ilya and Guntur. The time is yours now.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Ms. Febri. With your help, we were able to run this event conducively and smoothly as well as we expected. By the way, I was actually amazed by the oral presentation from our friends. That's very cool, guys.
For all of the participants, the next agenda is a break time. We will give our participant a break time. You can use this time to pray, take a meal, or prepare for your presentation. But don't forget to go back to room Zoom maximum at 1 p.m. If there are any problem with the theme or presentation session, don't worry because we as the committee will be here in the room. So you can stay here if you want to ask or do something. And please always check your comment session because we will share the next link of attendance on there after the plenary time. Thank you.
Okay, guys, you can break now. See you.